Hello everyone, Om Shanti, greetings of peace. A very warm welcome to Brahma Kumaris, Silicon Valley. In the series Being Busy but Stress Free. So the focus on the series, as the title suggests, is how to lead a stress-free life. Doesn't mean if I am busy, I need to be stressed. In fact, it is even more critical that if your life is busy, that we should know how to be stress-free. Because being busy means you have a lot of responsibilities. Most likely, you're doing a lot of important things. So, if I'm stressed, can I really fulfill my responsibilities in an elegant manner, in an accurate manner, right? So, stress doesn't help in bringing either productivity or quality to the task I'm doing. It doesn't help in me maintaining my grace, my self honor. So it's very important that we pause. We generally, at least Meghna, used to previously procrastinate, thinking she's so busy. Stress is going to be part of her and she's going to figure out how to be stress free at a later stage. That was a wrong choice. In fact, it was even more critical that if I was busy, I knew how to remain stress free because that would have certainly helped. So let's continue to explore this topic. Today, we will understand what is the root cause of stress and also kind of discuss some easy tips to get some relief from stress. And then we'll continue our journey further in the upcoming two classes to go a bit more deeper. As always, we will first get started with the guided meditation. So request you all to join me. Let's get the body in a comfortable posture by keeping our feet down on the ground, back and head straight, and maybe a smile on the face. And continue to breathe deeply and release the tightness in the body and the chatter in the mind. If we reflect upon our life, we've been running, chasing, working very hard to finish tasks after tasks. And then when we get exhausted, we wait for a vacation, a holiday, to go somewhere quiet and get some rest. Majority of our life, our awakened time is spent in actions. It is unavoidable. So am I saying that majority of the time I'm just going to be running, feeling overwhelmed, stressed, heavy? then for a very little time, I will relax. I will try to relax and experience some peace. Peace is innate to me. It's not an outside treasure that I need to fetch. It's not something outside that I need to work towards. It is mine. So it has to be natural and effortless. Instead, stress feels natural, effortless. Within few seconds, we know how to get stressed, and that is why we all say stress is natural, stress is normal, stress is unavoidable. And even though it feels so natural, so normal, does anyone desire or seek stress? In fact, we are not happy if our vacations feel stressful. We want it to be peaceful. That is why we go on vacation. So when something is against my desire, not only my desire, it is against every soul's desire. Can it be natural? If I am designed, if I have been programmed to be stressed, it means I am meant to be suffering. It means I am meant to be uncomfortable as part of my design. When a baby is born, it's not stressed. Even many adults are not stressed. If stress was natural and common, it would be part of every being. And there wouldn't be so much of a variance in the intensity of stress. So taking out some time in silence and deep contemplation about who I am and what I want in life is an absolute must. It is even more critical for a busy person to take out this time spent in connecting to the core of my being, that is to my truth, will help me perform at a higher efficiency and more effectiveness with high precision power. Peace doesn't obstruct me from performing well. Stress does. The more I understand that peace is my nature and stress is a virus that doesn't belong to me, the easier it is for me to rediscover myself as a stress-free, peaceful being. And a big part of my truth is I am an exact carbon copy of the Supreme who has the title of Ocean of Peace, Ocean of Powers, the Almighty Authority. So being His air, peace and powers are intrinsic to me. A powerful being can get resilient tasks done, challenging responsibilities completed with accuracy. So my hunt for peace is over. Anytime I want to experience that calmness, all I need is a simple thought with a conviction that I am peace, and peace is my biggest power. Welcome everyone to class number 2. Today, like I said, we will focus on root cause of stress. So let's get started. I'm hoping that you got to spend some time on the assignment number 1 that we talked about in the last class. Anybody who would like to share if they got to contemplate? When do you get stressed? What causes it? Did you get to reflect on this exercise? If you can share over the chat, that would be nice. Anybody? Your stress is what I call grieving at this time. Okay. And did you go further down to see whether it is benefiting you or is it damaging you? What can you do to overcome it? Did you get to think a little bit more about it? And anybody, if you didn't get to do it at the last week, if you are able to think now and kind of share, feel free to share. I think it always helps to understand and connect what are some common points over which we all stress and what are some things we are doing. So it gives a bit more of idea. So I hope it's a process, losing my last family member after caring for her for a long time. Yeah. It's yeah, it depends, right? For some people it can happen very quickly, and for some it can take time, right? So it depends, for sure. um, but it's all your mental set. How are you thinking about it? If you want, you can let go of it within a second, but if you don't want, something or the other is holding on to it, mostly it is ego, then it does take time. So it's really up to us whether we want to make it quick or we want to take on time, right? So that is totally up to us. So we'll get on to today's class. Last class we talked about Last class, we talked about, damages from stress, and we were talking about how the pressure on the head causes expansion in thoughts, and then how our heart gets compressed, and how time feels shortened, as if somebody has cut down. Instead of 24 hours, I only have 20 hours today. Or maybe for some, it feels like from 24, I only have 12 hours today. For Meghna, at least it felt like that. No matter how much she was toiling, she felt as if there wasn't enough time for anything. So let's go a bit deeper to understand the impact of stress. It is so important to understand this well, because this becomes one of the foundation to let go of stress. One of the main reasons stress exists in the society today is because, for many myths that we talked about in the last class, but one of them is that little stress is needed. It is necessary. It benefits, right? So we go a bit more deeper to understand the negative impact of stress. And any moment you feel you don't understand this point, feel free to put your question on the chat, and we will take it up. Or if you want to also raise your hand, that is fine. So when there is pressure on the head, right, which is your intellect, when you're feeling that, then automatically it basically means that the thoughts are going. Um, I'm just reading this. Last week I made food served to my husband. He keep watching TV. Food got cold. I got mad, took the food away from him. Okay, all right. Maybe this was not stress though. This was something else. Maybe you were worked up, maybe getting angry and upset that working hard and not appreciating that meal or something like that, right? But unless you think it was stress, possible you were stressed at work, and maybe that then kind of added, that incident triggered, and maybe it got you upset, right? It's possible. But it's good to be aware. What can I do, right? So when there is pressure on the head, you can't focus on anything, because automatically the expansion of thoughts occur. When you are feeling that stress, that I have to do this also, I have to do that also, that person hasn't responded, there is only this much time, I don't know whether others will like it, I don't know if that task will get done by me or not, will I be able to do it? So there is so many thoughts in the mind that is putting pressure. And that, when you are in that kind of a state, you can't focus well. When you can't focus, when you have a distracted mind, then decision making automatically gets impacted. The quality of decisions will go down. Memory becomes scattered. You won't remember things very clearly, because you're running through so many different things, you're not even digesting well what are the things you completed. And this used to happen to Meghna so much. She would do so many things, she would also multitask, she would not remember whether she followed all the steps or not. Suppose there was a process that she was following, either it is at work or at home, she would not remember if I did that step or not, or did I go to the next one, did I finish that or not, because you're just so much pressure that you're feeling, that you can't even digest which tasks were done or not done. You don't even give yourself even that much time. You are moving like like really lightning fast. So the memory gets very scattered. Such people start losing memory. They can't remember much. And when there is so much pressure that you're feeling, creativity is gone. So if you have something like a big project in your hand, or even something big you want to do at home, something creative, it's not possible to come up with some innovative, mind blowing, out of the box thinking that they call, not possible with so much pressure on the head. And then you, because you're doing, you can't be creative, you can't think out of the box, you end up doing regular, monotonous, tactical work. You're not doing big work. You're not doing great work anymore. Just ordinary or below ordinary work, surviving, barely going through day by day. Have you done something new? Have you learned something new? Have you tried anything new? No, no. There is no time. I have to finish everything. What about the quality? What about, doing something new? No, no, no. No time for that. Maybe sometime later. When? When, right? This is the life of a person who's on stress. And in the beginning, it doesn't feel like this, okay? It doesn't start like this. But when we start keeping stress in us, thinking it is necessary, you need it a little bit, soon it starts picking. The intensity of stress increases. The more you practice it, the more mastery you gain, right? And eventually you become a PhD in that stress subject. Then we talked about how heart gets compressed. We need to go deeper and understand when the heart is compressed means what? If I'm working with people, my feelings are not pure anymore. Suppose maybe even at home somebody is helping and you're stressed, man, things have to be done fast, and I have this to do, that to do, tomorrow is so busy, next whole week is busy, this is going on in my mind, and someone is helping me, even their tiniest mistake, or if they're doing it in a different way, it'll stress me out. Haven't I told you to do it this way? Why are you doing it that way? See, you've spilled unnecessarily. You should have followed my directions. So now there are ill feelings. You're not enjoying that task. Even at work, we won't be very vocal, but inside that commentary is going on. I don't know why this person is taking so much time. They must be lazing around. So my feelings towards people that I'm working with has spoiled. Even my feeling towards the work gets spoiled. So, for example, maybe you generally don't mind cooking, or maybe you generally don't mind a particular report generation at work, or whatever that one particular task might be. Soon your feelings towards that work will also change. Why should I only have to cook always? Why can't somebody else cook? This is too much. You're going to get outside food. I don't like this work. Or even if I do it, I'll do it with so much of that, dislike and frustration. The end result is everything becomes very ordinary because your feelings towards the work, feelings towards people involved is all impure. And such a person is disconnected to virtues. Now, virtues like enthusiasm is needed in work, patience is needed, persistence is needed, resilience is needed, courage is needed. All of those virtues, one by one, in a compressed heart. When there is too much pressure on the head, we stop feeling all the goodness. Meghna, from first-hand experience of many years of stress, can say first thing that would get out of, because of the pressure on head, peace is gone. Slowly she would see that love is reducing for herself and others. And then she would see fun is going away. What would she tell her? Fun is after everything you do, Meghna. Well, majority of my day went in doing. So when am I having fun? Very little. And that also not real fun, because the whole time doing the task, that feel heart was all, full of dirty feelings, no virtues, no love, no nothing. Then how can, even after finishing task, is it like magically my heart will just expand and I'll start feeling? No, that compressed heart stays for a long time. So then you start getting fed up of life. What is this life all the time, running after one task to another? Nobody's there to help. How much will I have to do? This work is so boring. Why? Because I'm not doing anything innovative. I'm just barely trying to finish off, putting check mark on tasks. So then such a task is not interesting. Then you feel, what is this point of doing these tasks every day? Relationship without the virtues starts becoming um, full of conflicts, because there are no pure feelings, good wishes for each other. Such a person can't love themselves, they can't love others. So when the heart is compressed, all of these things, these signs will start showing up. Stress is not just one aspect, it affects multiple aspects of our life. I need to be aware. Then last but not the least, when time feels shortened, this is one of the biggest things of stress. And again, first hand experience, I will say, I used to say no to many things. Like even simple interactions that people at work might come to stop, I'd kind of barely show any interest and would really give them hints that, hey, you know what, I'm very busy, I can't talk, especially you're talking about something here and there, I have no time for all that. Yes, absolutely. If you are in critical work, you do have to. And especially if this person is talking some wasteful things, then yes, you have to speak up. But that was not the case for me. Anything, sometimes even somebody needed help, I would somehow or the other say no and tell them, I'll do it later. And that could have been just 5 minutes of help for that person. Meghna would end up saying no and later regret, repent. Oh my gosh, how could I say that? So first stress, then say no to people, then regret. And as a result, you miss out on blessings. Blessings increase the power of the soul tremendously. Blessings help us in the most dire situation where there is nobody to help. These blessings we have accrued through people, being nice to them, being helpful towards them, going out of our way to help. These blessings that come out from others' heart towards us, they protect us in the most difficult time. This is what is called miracle, that you were in such a difficult situation, suddenly something happened and everything became all right. It's not miracle actually. It's the magic of the blessing. But when the time feels shortened, no to that. And then you start feeling, there is no time, so let me rush up, let me finish. So check mark is there on tasks, but quality suffers. And you start feeling that tiredness because so much pressure on the head, heart is feeling compressed, meaning I'm not enjoying it. And then time is feeling like I don't have enough time, so then the body starts feeling very tired because we say no to self care. Many people say no to meditation or spirituality because they say, excuse me, where is the time? So then when you have no time to take care of your own self, body gets impacted. So the spiritual ill health has a huge impact on the physical health. If you are spiritually ill, means mentally and emotionally also you will be ill. And if you're ill mentally and emotionally, physical health is just a matter of time, it is going downwards. Such a person who's feeling shortened of time will always procrastinate. And we know procrastination means piling up of tasks. That makes more pressure, that adds more pressure on the head. Meghna, that also is there, this is also there, you didn't finish that, you need to finish that, and now there's so much more left. Then the heart feels even more compressed. Even more compressed. So this is a very, very vicious cycle. So I need to sit and ask, it is critical to check. I request all of you to check if stress can be beneficial and is necessary to get work done. This is one of the myths we talked about, that stress is necessary. Stress is helpful in getting work done. Request you all to check after this. Is this really beneficial and necessary? Any questions before I move on to the next slide? Any questions here? Any thoughts? All right. We all know about ergonomics, and especially at work, we all know what that means, right? To have a good posture. And even if you're not working, even at home, right? If you're not sitting properly, any kind of work you might be doing and you're sitting or you're standing, and if you don't have a good posture, we all know what happens. If the posture is bad, incorrect, then there is a discomfort, some discomfort, where you feel a little bit of tightness maybe, or a little bit of difference between one hand and the other hand, one shoulder and the other shoulder. You're feeling that and you neglect that. You don't change your posture. You let that discomfort be. Then it becomes pain. There could be some inflammation and, where the nerves are getting red. You can even see it on the skin sometimes. And maybe there is some swelling. There is pain. Now, even at this stage, if you neglect your posture, if you don't correct it, if you don't do any exercises or take any medication to reduce um, that inflammation, then there is damage. It could be a permanent damage. I have known people at work who, due to this ergonomics, have had to take few months off from work. And even after they come back, their body has not completely recuperated. Some part of their body got damaged permanently. So this ergonomics, we all know on the external front. Similarly, there is an inner ergonomics. We need to be in the right posture, even inside. So if the mental posture, so if my thoughts are full of stress, how will you do this, Meghna? There's only so much time. What about that task? You don't even know how to do that task well. You will do a bad job. Nobody will like it. Those thoughts are going. And I say, oh, yeah, it's very normal. Yeah, everybody feels stressed. Hopefully, after 1 week, I'll feel better. Or hopefully, next month, I'll be better when the work reduces. I'll try to take some time. It starts showing up in the emotional front. Suddenly I'm feeling very frustrated, I'm getting irritated, I'm feeling a lot of impatience, I'm driving a little rashly. So there is a little bit of discomfort. It's moved from mental to emotional. I still neglect it. It's okay, this happens, this is a heavy season, it's a lot of the school activities are going on, or kids are busy, or whatever, we give all kinds of reason. Then it becomes stress, heavy stress, where I'm constantly feeling it. Even in the night, it is there. So it's now become a lot louder, where I'm not able to sleep well. I'm not even able to eat well. I'm always running. A lot of things are falling from my hand. A lot of work is getting spoiled. So it's become a bigger pain, but I still feel okay, it's okay. Then it results in burnout. And I've seen this burnout also in few people at work. Complete burnout, not just the damage to the body, but burnout where they had to be out of office for more than 6 months. And even when they came back, they could never do 8 hours of work. Some of them had to do 4 hours work for 6 months, and then later also moved to a role that required less pressure. So when we are feeling stress, it's a signal for us that I need to do something before it becomes completely damaging. Burnout means not only I get burnt out, but my family gets affected by it, my finances, my work, my body, everything will get affected by it. So if I am feeling that stress, I can't say it is normal. Little stress is okay. You won't even know when it builds and builds and becomes a lot louder, which is much more damaging. So here we come back again to our second myth. Another myth we had is, where people say stress is motivating, it motivates you. So it's important to ask, when all of this is happening, where my head is feeling pressure, heart is compressed, short time is shortened, is stress really a motivation? In such a situation, can I feel anything positive? My heart is feeling constrained. How can I? Motivation is also a thing that comes out from the heart. How can I feel motivation when everything is feeling so constricted? I'm barely surviving. I feel there's no time. So it's really hyper attention, where I'm trying to be like, using a whip to run myself, execute myself with that attention. Wait, now, come on, don't take a space. You have too much to do. You are going to fail. Come on, come on. I'm pushing myself like that. For how long can I deliver at the same pace and quality? I'll take an example here, of one individual that I know had decided to go on marathons. And because they were on marathons, This person expected, the whole food had to be changed, because if you're running a marathon, then you need to be on a special diet. You have to sleep at a certain time because you have to exercise. Then on weekends, they generally try to take longer runs. Means what? They have to get up even more early. Then they don't have time for the family. So the whole thing, they were so stressed. My marathon, my 6-month marathon is coming. My marathon is coming. So stressed about it. For how long can you do that kind of marathon? After some time where you've been so stressed, I have to get up, I have to eat this, my family is not cooperating, when will they change? My family keeps blaming that I'm not doing anything with them. Can't they understand I'm doing a marathon? After some time, that person who was really excited and enjoying that new hobby of marathon, they'll say, enough of it. It's too much stress. I can't do it anymore. So in the long run, will the motivation stay? It is just hyper attention. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to do marathon, I have to do marathon, I have to do this, I have to get up early, I have to eat this, I have to get this. My family needs to do that. So again, important to check. Stress cannot motivate. Motivation means you're feeling energy where you can create something, you can help 10 different things. When you're saying no to so many people, when your creativity is dead, where is the motivation? Motivation means you're building something awesome, extraordinary. Motivation means you can do 10 different things, you can help 10 people. Otherwise, it is just hyper attention with a whip in your hand for your own self. Is stress really natural or normal? This was one more belief we talked about, that myth or truth. To me, it is a myth. Stress really is not at all natural or normal. And we talked about this in meditation too, where each one of us, do we ever desire to be stressed? We don't, because our natural nature is not stress. If our natural nature was both stress and peace, then I would equally want stress and peace. Something that is so uncomfortable, why would that be part of my design? Am I saying my design, every human soul's design is defective? We are meant to be abnormal? Because nobody can say stress is something that is normal. You can't say headaches are normal for a body. No, headache is abnormal. You need to go and figure out. Once in a while, different story. Even that, when the body is very healthy, will not happen, right? So it's very important. So our bodies are made to take pressure and recover. It doesn't really recover fully. There is damage is done. Even for real little bit of stress also, there are cells that indeed there is some recovery, but permanent recovery doesn't occur. And the biggest part is when you practice stress, that it becomes a habit. It will not be especially when you've given permission, yeah, a little bit stress is okay. It's very normal. It is necessary. Then that will become bigger and bigger, because situation outside are only growing bigger, unpredictability is only growing, responsibilities are growing, which means you're saying stress is needed now more, now even more. So it is growing. Then every time the body is not recovering, body at least recovers from physical injury, but emotional injuries that we keep doing through stress or through trauma or through depression, body doesn't recover fully ever. The inner organs are slowly, like all these diseases they call high blood pressure, heart diseases, or diabetes. These are all happening through the psychosomatic, they're all called psychosomatic diseases, which means they take time to show up. Little by little, each inner organ is getting destroyed. And then there is a name to that disease. And I'm sure science will progress to label. It's already saying, if you are depressed, then these are the organs that get, destroyed. If you're practicing anger, high blood pressure will start coming. Or if you have resentment, high BP is a given. These are all signs. So body is not recovering, really. What we feel recovered is it's not as tight as it was before, but it is never as loose as it was before. It never comes back to that normal state. And internally special, it doesn't. So very important to check. There, especially if you call stress to be normal and natural, there is no need to figure out how to de-stress. Because it's normal, right? Normal means what? I have to let it be. It's okay. Natural means what? It is inside of me. It can't be taken out. Whereas it is not true. If it was inside of me, I would have preference to have both stress and peace. Not a single human soul you will find who will say, I wish I had a little bit of stress in my life. That is something important to check, because if you believe that stress is natural or normal, stress will grow in you. It won't get out of you at all, no matter whatever techniques you might adopt. With this belief, it only grows. It is very subtle. Highly recommend for you all to think about this. What types of beliefs sustain stress, right? This is kind of connected to what we have been talking about. So just wanted to highlight it. One belief that is that others are the cause of my stress. One particular individual, some people will say mother-in-law causes stress, some will say manager causes stress, some will say tax season causes stress, some will say when kids fall season, or when their exam season, or when everybody is at home, holiday season causes stress. It then stress is growing. If I am pointing fingers at others, then stress will grow. So somebody here is saying, you're right, 100% due to stress. I am diabetic, also high blood and eczema now suffering. Thank you for sharing. And this little stress is necessary to function well. We talked about this as well. Stress motivates us and keeps us on track. Important to check. We just talked about this as well. Something that is applying so much pressure, how can it generate any kind of positive energy? It is just hyper attention, where I'm using a whip on myself. Then multitasking is essential for high productivity. This was big one in Meghna's list. And this increased stress tremendously for me. And my body also has gotten damaged in many ways. Many ways my body has been damaged because of that. In fact, IBS, right, which they don't know yet the cause, but many doctors and researchers speculate that irritable bowel syndrome, one of the top reasons for it is root cause is stress. Eating with stress, multitasking, all of these things, they have a huge impact on the stomach. So it's damaging, slow damage. That's why we don't know immediately, but it is damaging. So we talked about how stress is equal to forces by surface area, right? The forces we talked about, how external changes, external problems, external responsibilities in different branches of life. This is expected, right? Each one of us has this. Now, one is at a regular pace, things are going, but we all know changes happen, issues come up, challenges come up. So that is a force. Now, my coping mechanism, my surface area, how much resilience I have, what kind of courage and strength I have, that is the denominator. So stress is equal to force by surface area, and stress automatically, right? If the numerator is increasing, especially if my number of responsibilities are increasing or more challenges are coming in my life, automatically stress will increase, unless my surface area is big. But if my surface area is zero, I have not done anything to take care of myself spiritually. My mental well-being, my emotional well-being, zero. One is to not take care, and also I'm not feeling well. Then stress for such a person, if this is zero, stress is infinite. But if this is infinite, if I have unlimited capacity, then let this be unlimited. Doesn't matter. Stress will be zero. So this is again important to understand. So root cause of stress, right? Root cause of stress is indeed many responsibilities at work. This could again connect to finances. It could be at home, relatives, society, whatever that big connections we maintain, whether it is friends and all of that, your personal life, then self itself. And it's not just physical, even your spiritual well-being, if it is not being done properly, that can also cause stress. Oh my gosh, my meditation used to be so good before, now it is not good. Today at least I have to try. So even in meditation, they're stressing to have a good meditation. So stress can follow you everywhere, and it followed Meghna even in the spiritual path, feeling overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, what's happened to my spirituality? My journey seems to be a little tougher. Oh my gosh, is everything going to fall apart? I've been working so hard. So changes are expected, responsibilities can increase. Most important, the root cause, if this is increasing day by day and sudden changes are occurring, plus my coping mechanism is very, very weak. And you must have all heard of these terms, imposter syndrome, very popular in the corporate world. In this past decade, I think it's gotten a lot of attention. Many big corporate companies have classes and trainings for imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome basically says I'm not good enough, especially people who join new in a big company, like companies like Google, Amazon, all of these big bets. There people feel I'm not good enough, everybody else better, I don't know whether I'll do one or not. So poor coping mechanism, meaning you have a lot of self doubts, very fragile, very fragile, extremely sensitive. Little bit someone doesn't smile, doesn't laugh, or doesn't have eye contact, they feel doubt. So then they will try to please that person and figure out what happened, why are you not smiling, why are you not looking at me, what happened. Or rigid, it could be the other form, very rigid, can't bend at all, very egoistic. And if this is my inner space, then stress is very high. So we just saw, right, this is the numerator and this is the denominator. So if the numerator keeps increasing and my denominator keeps dropping, that is day by day I'm feeling unwell, I feel I'm not happy anymore, I'm always feeling restless, I don't enjoy relatives anymore. If that is my state, I get irritated very quickly, I feel depression very quickly, then if this is my inner dimension and this is my outer dimension, then stress will become paramount. So very important to check. Any thoughts or questions so far? All right. So dealing with the forces of life, right? We've been talking about this, right? What kind of forces can come? Sudden change in your health, sudden change in your health, or maybe a job loss, or maybe you've been changed to a different manager, different reorg occurred, or maybe one of your family members is going through a tough time. It could be anything. So some people, the way they deal with it, their state is very fragile. And we all know, like the material glass, right? It can't take even a little bit of pressure. Some glasses which are like crystal, so finely made, if you put it on the desk little bit force, it'll crash. That much is it is that fragile. It can't even take even this much pressure. So such a person can easily experience burnout. They might need to get hospitalized. This fragile state basically doesn't mean the numerator is big. Here it means that the denominator is coming to zero. Don't have any kind of inner strength. Extremely sensitive, extremely rigid. This is how people should be. This is how body should be. I have taken care of it. It is not meant to be like this. You can't adjust at all. Very rigid in your ideas. Then this could cause even hospitalization. Or some people are little, they will stretch, like a rope. If you pull a rope, it will, like if you keep stretching and stretching, it will little bit stretch, but it is not in its original shape anymore. So the way it was earlier, it has now become a thin string. It was a thick rope, but because I kept, pulling heavy things through it, or I was lifting heavy things through it, it did the work. It still got work done, but it is strained. So person with this kind of personality typically will have medium stress. Means they will adapt to change. It's not like, they're not adapting. They will adapt to a change at the work or adapt to the change in the body. But inside, they're complaining now. And that inner complaint could be, why does this keep happening to me? Why can't things ever be smooth to me? And then it could get worse. They'll go and start talking to 10 people, wanting their agreement. See, they want that label. Yeah, Meghna's life is difficult. Poor thing, she's going through so much. We want that affirmation. So it again, my tolerance power decreases when I go and start sharing with everyone. My life is tough. My life is difficult. This is happening. That is happening. I'm so stressed. And people will attest, yeah, Meghna, so stressed. I agree, man. My life is also like that. This causes deformation, which means my inner state of peace is not there anymore. Instead, now those complaints and a little bit of stress has creeped in. But there is a third option of dealing with the forces of life, which is resilience. We all know of solid materials. You hit it, you keep hitting it. It won't change one bit. It will remain the way it is. There are certain materials that are solid. This is the state called no stress at all. And I've known few people who are like this. Majority of us might be somewhere in this strained. Strained also is a big range. You could be in that range, where you're decreasing, meaning your stress is increasing, that you move towards fragile. Or maybe day by day, because you're working on yourself, you're moving towards resilience. If you are not doing any kind of self-care, by self-care means what? Your thoughts, your spirit. If you're not doing anything, you are moving towards the fragile state. But if you're working, dedication is there, then you will move towards resilience. And I know certain people who are like that. I've known people who are 100 years old. They're traveling all over the world, giving talks. And not even like jet lagged or this, I can't do, I have to take 1 week rest before. 100 years age. Still going strong. How does that come? Extreme sometimes doesn't sound, immense peace inside of them. They've connected to their truth. They've rediscovered their truth, that they are peaceful beings with unlimited strength. Strength of the Supreme is in them. For such a soul, they are extremely flexible. They will not have issues. Like if you're traveling around the world, imagine how many heritages and cultures and diversity you're coming across, meaning different personalities, and they can adjust to anyone because of their inner strengths. Easily molds to anybody's personality. No. So they're, in spite of doing so many things, so many responsibilities, meeting with variety people, dealing with their personality, changes in their health, Still not a single feeling, oh man, today I've done too much, I should get some extra. No such feeling. Only feeling that pure pride. What a bliss. I can take care of everything. I can deal with so many different people and I still feel love in my heart. I still feel energy in my spirit. This is not an impossible or unachievable goal. It is within our reach, and I can personally see myself moving from strain towards resilience. Day by day, this deformation is decreasing. And Meghna was in extreme in stress. She didn't reach that fragile state, but she was getting close to that. For multiple decades, I've practiced stress. But this spiritual growth, the journey that I've taken and the growth I've seen moving towards resilience is totally for me an attainable goal. Question for all of you, and we will stop here because we're almost coming towards the end. What is the right priority order in life? What should I take care of first? Work, self, relations. What would your order be? If you can, and if this is the right order, write down on the chat 1, 2, 3. What is your most important should be number 1, least important should be number 3. So if you could please share what is your number 1, 2, 3. 2 is the most important. Okay. And what is number 2 for you then? What is number 2? Relations, self-relation and work. Very good. Okay, self-relation and work. Most of you are saying that. Very nice. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes, everybody. 222. Very nice. I like that spirit too. But this doesn't mean that I say no to people. I say no to work. It doesn't mean that. It just means a quick shift inside. So, for example, maybe I'm feeling a bit tired, but somebody has come and told me, maybe my close relative or a friend or someone is telling me, hey, can you help me this one thing? Maybe that will take half an hour. And if it is not a doctor order, can I stretch myself? But before I stretch myself, what is my inner self saying? So that's a quick check. 1 second. Am I doing this to please this person? Or am I doing it for my own sake? That is important. Am I going to enjoy? Or I'm going to go because I don't know how to say no, then this person might get mad. So I have to go. And then whole time while I'm helping this person, I'm cursing. Either I'm feeling this person doesn't even realize I was so tired. They should have not asked me. Can't they do anything by themselves? So very important. Now, when we say self is the first, doesn't mean I start saying no to people. Very true, it could be, but it's important. If you put 222, you're saying it is right, but it's important to understand because a lot of people understand self priority means say no to people, say no to work. No, it does mean, like, if it is suppose my meditation time, right, and if the family is saying, hey, come and do this, we can set that boundaries and, like, okay, once in a while, fine, but they should know, yes, that time I can prioritize and say, you know what, this is my meditation time, can this wait? But again, I don't need to be mean. So prioritization self doesn't mean I neglect, but it always means whatever I do, whether I work with others or interact with others, first I have to check, am I happy doing it? Or am I doing it to make the other person happy? Because if I do that, then I will be stressed. So first is to take care, make sure you're coming from a space of peace, love, and joy. Then important to take care of relations. Make sure in the house, if you're trying to overdo, whether it is outside, maybe in the charity, maybe you're a volunteer, or maybe you are working in the office. If you're overdoing there and neglecting your relations, that is also not good. It's important to have that open communication and let them know that, you know what, this 1 or 2 days it's going to be like this, or 1 or 2 weeks it's going to be like this. I'm not going to be attentive. please understand, have that conversation with the family. It is so important, because we can't, if because why? Because relations are involved with people. People means soul. Soul means they are creating thoughts. So if I am giving work number 2 or number 1, Meghna, the number 1 priority was work. Her priority order was this. Meghna's old priority order was this, what she's put on here: work, self, and relations, all messed up. And sometimes relationship would come on number 2, and she would go down, or sometimes this number and 2 and 3 would keep changing, but work was her top priority. And why this caused so much damage is because if I am prioritizing work and expecting, they need to understand, I can't be always about them, I can't always, they need to grow up and understand. The thing is, they don't, and they are creating a lot of thoughts. She's never there for us, she's always prioritizing work, or she never helps out. They're creating all those thoughts. Those thoughts are coming to me, they are disturbing me, and my thoughts will go towards them. They don't understand it. So this is now a conflict ping pong game has started in the house. Or it could be at work too. At work also, I have to prioritize my connection with that person. That should not get spoiled because of work. Meghna did that. She used to spoil the connection at the cost of work needs to get done, it has to be perfect. Because of that, she would spoil the relationship at times. And then you can never have beautiful work. You will always have this constant, every time you see that person, some kind of ill feeling. No good work can come out. So very important for relationships, we have to focus on them. We can't, again, it doesn't mean I focus so much on relationship means I neglect work. No. So yes, this was the wrong priority order, so that's why a cross mark. Right is indeed self, like all of you said, self, relation, and work. They all three go hand in hand in parallel. It's just a few seconds. Quickly take care of the self, make sure everybody is okay in relationship, then jump to work. This is the priority order. So we are all out of time anyways. We are over time. Any questions? Anybody would like to share anything? Feel free to raise your hand and we can unmute, or put your questions on the chat. Anything that you'd like to share. And good to know that you'd like to watch this session again. That's great. No questions? All good? So I wanted to share another homework, although you all didn't get a chance to, work on it, but I still feel it'll be good to share this, and hopefully you'll get some chance. These are some things that help Meghna tremendously in reducing stress. Tremendously. I want to underline that tremendously. And it took time for her to calm down. Meghna would always eat in a rush. A lot of times working and eating, multitasking, right? And she would eat in that stress. Eating in stress or eating in restless energy increases stress, because your vibrations are reaching that food. So your vibrations have an impact on matter, and then that matter consumes that energy and you're eating it. That has more impact on you. It becomes a cyclical effect. So if you pause, take out 15 minutes for every meal, at least 15 minutes. Nowadays, I see sometimes it even takes me 20 minutes, and most of the times Meghna used to finish in 3 or 4 minutes before. Just gobble quickly, no time, no time. Helps hugely in reducing stress. Never eat while you're walking or running. You have to, like, this is a tip, I'm telling you, it really helps from someone who's stressed a lot. Meghna used to do this while walking, eat, while driving, eat. Not anymore. with elegance, with grace, with patience. Give pure energy to that food, full of gratitude. Bring Supreme to your conversation. That's my time to interact beautifully with the Supreme. Imagine what kind of energy is going to that food then. That will touch me. It will slowly, you will see how your stress reduces. So, highly recommend. Meghna is this person who is talking. So I refer to Meghna as a third person because I, the soul, is different from Meghna's personality. I, the soul, is perfect, just like the Supreme, right? Meghna is not. So whenever I'm talking about imperfections, I'm talking about Meghna, which is this role that the soul is playing. Okay. So eating slowly, 1 week, I highly, strongly recommend, and I would love to hear from you next week that you have practiced this. Second tip, go without multitasking. Just 1 week, try without multitasking. Slowing down as you're doing, whether it is cooking or the laundry or the cleaning or at work. Pause and see how are you feeling. Be aware. That's the first step. Aware of what you're feeling. Even during eating, how are you feeling? If Meghna now ever feels that disturbed, she'll put the spoon, everything down, her plate down, and she will sit and once again connect, rediscover her truth. This Meghna role took over and created whatever, right? Remove all of that. I'll stop. And then once again, once I am in that peaceful energy, my truth is showing, then I get back to the work. That work will become a masterpiece. Ordinary task also will look so beautiful when you do it with grace, with your elegance of truth, right? Last, create time buffer. Put 10 minutes extra. If you plan your day, which Meghna used to always plan and over plan, add 10 minutes extra to everything so that you don't feel that time pressure. Stress, one thing it does is it cut downs on the time. So very, very important. For example, you've planned your day that this will take this much time. Add 10 minutes to it. In that 10 minutes, if they are saved, use it for some short meditation, listening to some commentary, listening to some soothing music, or take a 5-minute quick walk. So for me, throughout the day, this buffer where I don't have to rush through anything. End of the day, what Meghna has figured out is she's now finishing her office work in 4 to 6 hours. Most people will take 8 to 10 hours and still they don't get it done. This method is not going to cause you to slow down. You will see you become more productive. Not only productive, your quality, it's at a very high precision. This is my true change I have seen in me with following these simple tips. So highly recommend assignment number 2. I would love to hear. I'm going to start with this next week, and I hope I'm going to hear from you your own experiences in trying this out. With that, we come to an end of this session. And if you have a minute, please stay back for a short meditation. Silence is my true nature. I don't need to work hard to experience my nature. Mind makes me feel it is very hard to be peaceful. And the sensations in the body make me feel as if it is very difficult. But the more I stay with the Supreme and maintain conviction and intoxication of silence being my true nature, mind will quieten. It will align to your truth, and body will loosen and become relaxed. And even if they don't immediately, it is a matter of time. Silence is the biggest healing power. And I, the soul, is abundant in healing power because I'm abundant in silence. Thank you all for joining me today. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Take care, everyone. Om Shanti. And if you would like to share feedback, that's the feedback form. Would really appreciate any kind of feedback on the session today. That would be nice. Thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead.